All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back. I am your host, Taylor Coleman. I'm the CEO, lead writer, director, and producer at Crystal Ignition LLC. We are a small independent film and video production company located in Jacksonville, Florida. And on this channel, we talk filmmaking and gaming. So if those two things happen to interest you, do me a favor, consider checking out some of our other videos. We're in the process of moving to a new 1 week schedule. So if you are interested in that sort of thing, check out some of our other content. So today, I'm coming at you with a serious video. For those of you that have been subscribed for a while now, you know that I typically don't touch on political matters simply because there are a lot of really, really good channels that already talk about this stuff on a day-to-day basis. The Majority Report, Hassan Piker, he streams every day, but he also just talks like on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel and just a ton of other great content creators that talk about what is going on politically. But because what is happening right now deals with the media and I am a film and media professional. I have a master's degree in this stuff. I figured I would come out and provide a little bit of insight. As you can see by the title of this video, right now there is a concerted attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And for a lot of people, this seems to be very shocking what is happening right now. But this is not all that shocking at all, and I'm going to explain why. So before we get started, I do want to say, since this is a political topic and the title might have triggered a few people, this is not the space to come in here and be, don't come in here being transphobic or homophobic or racist. You will get blocked. The block button will be used on this video. So I don't mind if you leave a comment, but keep it respectful. And yeah. So what do I mean when I say that diversity, equity, and inclusion is under attack? Well, as you all know, unfortunately, Donald Trump won the presidency again. He is our president, and he has been rolling back and attacking DEI initiatives. His administration is putting certain restrictions through executive order on schools that are targeted at stopping them from talking about things like race, gender, and sexuality. Now, how this relates to media and the reason why I'm touching on it is that in the last week or two, we've started to see companies try to align themselves with the mission of this administration, and in particular, film and media companies. So, three examples that I'm going to give you that you've probably already seen in the news. The Tiana TV show, the Princess and the Frog protagonist. Apparently, she was going to get her own show at Disney. Very big deal simply because she is the only Black Disney princess who already is a very controversial character for a number of reasons. That's canceled. That's gone because I guess somebody considers that to be DEI. Paramount, they're rolling back DEI initiatives. So this is the big one that I saw that kind of inspired me to make this video. For a long time, Hollywood, especially in light of events in 2020, they were talking about how they were going to have these diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. They were going to try and let more minority creatives tell their stories and make movies like everyone else. And apparently they've decided that they're not going to do that anymore. In the last one, Disney removed a trans storyline from the Win or Lose film. So apparently they were going to have a plot line in that film that centered around a trans character or trans story, and they decided that that was too divisive for the current culture. So they took that out. So why is this happening? Why is this happening right now in this moment, where about 5 years ago, or you can argue right before the election, companies were talking about their DEI initiatives and how they were going to be inclusive and all these different things. And now that this new regime has taken power, all of a sudden they have to roll that back and these things are bad. And you've got, Mark Zuckerberg getting mad over the tampons in the bathroom and all of these different things. Why is this happening right now? Well, understand something and let this be a learning moment for a lot of you that might not have thought about this. Companies do not care about you. I think instinctively we all kind of know this, but I'm reiterating this to you. The company does not care about you. They care about the maximization of profit. That is what they care about first and foremost. So to put this into perspective with film and media, what we're seeing with TV shows and movies and Paramount and Disney, when these executives and these producers and screenwriters sit down and they have meetings and they talk about what they're going to make and what they're going to do, it is not based around how can we connect to the human condition, something that the average person, that communities can connect to and learn from, or discover something within themselves and improve themselves with, right? It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. They think about, how can I sell you a t-shirt? How can I sell you a book? How can I sell you a video game? Okay? It's one of the reasons why, and I think that there are a lot of people that don't seem to understand this when they make YouTube videos crying about a female character in a movie, okay? It's one of the reasons why, unfortunately, a lot of these characters do end up being kind of bland, okay? Because the company is not going to ask themselves what issue that every woman in this country, or you can even argue the world, deals with on a deep emotional human level. They're not going to ask themselves that question, and they're certainly not going to try to improve or comment on some issue that women are having, right? They ask themselves, how can we get women to buy this product? How can we get them to consume our film or TV show? And that's it. Everything else be damned. The story, the design, all of it, they don't care. They just want your money. So understand that right now, the corporations, right, the Paramount and Disney and all these people, they are acting based off of what they think will maximize profits. They want the negative press. They want people to like and share and post on social media that they got rid of the trans character in the movie and they put the Christian character. Why? Because there's going to be a certain subset of Americans that are going to only read the article. They're not going to read anything else. And they're going to say, oh, they put the Christian character and they got rid of the trans character. And they're going to go see the movie just because of that. Not because they genuinely want to go see it, or even their child wants to go see it, right? If we're talking Disney movies, they don't care about any of that. It's purely ideological. And for the company, it's financial. They just want money. So understand that this is a profit-seeking behavior, and understand that companies, this is what they do, okay? And I'm going to put 2 articles below, research papers, because again, I went to grad school, I studied this stuff. This is something that's been happening for a long time. This is not new. So I'm going to put 2 research papers below in the description for you to read. So why then does the politician attack these things, right? Why are conservative politicians so worried about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? Why has this become the new thing? Well, there's 2 reasons for this. There's 2 reasons. The first reason that this is happening is that it's not in the best interest of the political party and of the ideology for these things to exist. So let me give you an example. Okay, maybe you grew up in a community that was, say, very homophobic, right? You went to church and there was the pastor up on the pulpit and he came out and he said, these people are deviants, right? They're deviants and they're going to go to hell and they say all these different things, right? So you grow up and you are told these things repeatedly, and perhaps you start to believe it. But then you go off to college or university, and all of a sudden you are in a place where you are around a lot of queer people. And lo and behold, they're just normal people. They're no different from anyone else. They're just normal human beings. You might even become friends or even close friends with some individuals like this. You might even question your own sexuality and discover that you aren't the same way that you were told to be when you were raised. And this happens for a number of things, right? Um, Perhaps you had certain beliefs about black and brown people, but then you go off to college or university and you're around a lot of black and brown people. And slowly but surely, you start to discover that they're no different from anyone else, that a lot of what you were told is not simply not true. Beyond that, with your coursework, right? A lot of humanities coursework, a lot of undergraduate coursework asks you to think critically about the world. Okay, you're going to read the history. You're going to watch films and videos, and you're going to discuss, right, the plight of black and brown people, right, in this country, around the world. And slowly but surely, you're going to start to realize that a lot of what you were told is not true. Then you might start to question other things that you were told from figures that follow these ideologies. And that's not good for them because they need you to vote for them. Now, there's a second part to this, right? The second part. And that is the politician, the conservative ones, and the Democrats too, but in the context of this video, they have to serve their constituents. And who are their constituents? The corporations, the robber barons, the billionaires, the lobbyists. That's their real constituents. You know, what we see on TV and what you might see in your community or out when you're out and about, yeah, there are the voters, right? The conservative voters, but that's not their real constituent. Their real constituent is the corporation. So let me explain to you how this plays out, okay? The company benefits from tax cuts, from deregulation, from, not having to pay any taxes or obey any labor laws or anything like that, right? They benefit from imperialism even, okay? Because if they can go and they can, use the might of the American military to take over another country or to enforce certain restrictions on other countries in their companies, they can make more money. They don't have to compete. So it's in their best interest, okay? It's in their best interest for those conservative politicians to win because what do they tell you? We are the party of the tax cuts and we're going to cut the taxes or we're going to uphold the American values, right? All these different things. But what they can't come out and tell you, the American people, right? You and me. What they can't come out and tell their constituents, right? The conservative voters, is that we're going to cut the SNAP benefits and we're going to cut the Medicaid, right? They can't say those things because those conservative voters use those programs. Now, they can get away with lying about things like the Department of Education, right? Because a lot of their voters don't understand what that does, right? And that's a byproduct of the education system. That's like a whole nother thing. But they can get away with stuff like that, but they're not going to tell you that they're going to cut all these different things to benefit the big businesses. So instead, how do they get the votes, right? Because if they can't tell you that, then they can't get the votes to get power. So what do they do instead? They go after those deeply held beliefs, okay? So unfortunately, a lot of their constituents, a lot of these people in these communities, they're indoctrinated from an early age to believe things about certain groups of people, about immigrants, about queer people, about black people. So they latch on to those things, those narratives, and they push that in order to rile the people up. So let me give you an example. Mexican immigrants, right? Hispanic immigrants. They come out and say, we're going to round them up and we're going to send them back to their country. Now, for people that actually think very critically, we know that that America is a nation that is built on immigration, right? We know that the studies show that they don't commit any crimes. They just work, and empathy, right, for human beings that just care about their fellow man, right? You know, we don't mind people coming from other countries and working and doing things, right? Doesn't matter. Don't even think about it. But for these people, because they've been indoctrinated with these beliefs about immigrants, about Hispanic immigrants, they get riled up and they vote for the politician. And that's how they get power. They get power when we are all divided. They get power when they can tell men that they should be angry at women and that it's women's fault that they can't get a good paying job or they can't find a wife. When in reality, they can't get the good paying job because the company doesn't want to pay anyone. They don't want to hire anyone. They will pay you zero if they could get away with it. In reality, it is the dating app companies, right? And the clubs and the bars that want to charge extra money so you can't get in, or it's the dating app that wants you to pay for the subscription service, right? It's your job that wants you to work 60 hours a week so that you can't go out and actually talk to people and meet people. That's the reason why you probably can't find a wife, but they don't want to tell you that. So instead, they're going to just say that it's the women's fault. Okay? They're not going to tell you that it's your landlord's fault that your rent keeps going up. Instead, they're going to have you be angry over the trans teenager at the high school when that has absolutely nothing to do with your rent going up. But that's what they'll tell you because they know that that's going to get you riled up, because they know that a lot of you are not going to pay attention to the other policies that they want to do. So, in closing, because I've rambled on long enough, and if you can't tell by now, I don't typically talk about these things. I think that there's a lot of people that do a much better job. Again, Hassan Piker, Sam Cedar, Richard Wolff, all these guys, they do a much, much better job of talking about this stuff. But in closing, there are lots of young women that are upset right now. They're watching as they're losing rights that their grandmother had. There are lots of queer people that are upset that there are all these attacks happening on trans communities. And there's a very real fear that this could turn into violence on their friends, their family. There's lots of black and brown people that are upset that, all that hard work to just get the most surface level representation in a lot of instances is now being rolled back. Let me tell you something, okay? This is not new. These people have been doing this for a long time, okay? When it comes to TV shows and movies, they've been excluding black and brown people for decades. That's not new. Never went away. They want you to believe it went away. None of that stuff never went away, okay? They've been trying to roll back women's rights for I don't know how long. Never went away. But what you have to understand is this, okay? They did not succeed the first time they tried to do all this, and they're not going to succeed now, okay? And I'm going to link a video, Elliot Sang. I'm going to put it up there. Elliot Sang made a really good video on this, and I want you guys to go and watch it. So click on that link after you watch this video or go check it out, okay? They tried to silence the voices of black and brown people. They could not stop the civil rights movement. They couldn't stop it. They tried to silence the voices of women, but they couldn't stop the feminist movement. And they were able to win what we had, what they're trying to take away now. They could not stop, the LGBTQ plus community from fighting for their rights. They couldn't stop it. And one thing that I know is that they're not going to stop it. They're not going to win. But the key to that is going to be, number one, getting organized. Okay? So get organized with your community, with other marginalized groups. And number two, get educated. Read. Watch documentary films. Read articles. Educate yourself. Because they can go into the schools and they can say they're going to get rid of DEI and they're not going to teach Black history. But the one thing that they can't do is they can't stop you if you're a parent, a big brother, big sister, grandparent, aunt, uncle, from going out and buying a book on Black history and reading it to your grandkids or your little brother, your little sister. They can't stop that. They can say all these things about queer people, but they can't stop you from living your life, making friends, making connections. They can't stop it. They can try. They can certainly try. And that's what we're seeing right now. They're going to make a lot of noise, okay, but they won't succeed. All right? We will have a future where there is diversity, equity, inclusion, justice, democracy, and equality for everyone. So don't forget that. Don't give in to despair, okay? Don't get depressed. Don't turn on your friends. Don't turn on certain groups pointing the finger. It's going to be all right. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, keep it respectful. If you come in here, trying to be a troll or anything like that, I'm just going to remove the comment and block you. Don't care. But let me know if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something from the video. If there's anything else that you want people to learn from this video, leave a comment down below. Have a good day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you all next time.